my team. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D.
Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show as we roll into hour number 2. Barking Guy is with us, and we were kind of reminiscing about baseball announcers. We were talking about Ernie Harwell with the Detroit Tigers. You grew up in that area, listened to Ernie on the radio, and I was trying to think, did Ernie Harwell and Harry Carey, did Harry steal something from Ernie or vice versa? And what it was the holy cow. Harry Carey kind of became famous for holy cow.
Yes.
And but he wasn't maybe the originator of the phrase or was the only one to use the phrase. And I found a website article here, Ninus, and holy cow was used by baseball players at least as early as 1913. And probably earlier, it became associated with several American baseball broadcasters. The phrase may have originated with reporter and broadcaster Halsey Hall, who worked in Minneapolis from 1919 until his death in 1977. What is the origin of the saying holy cow? The term holy cow originated from Jewish folks when God commanded the Israelites to sacrifice a red heifer or cow without blemish upon the altar. So I guess it goes all the way back to the origin of times. Famous Chicago Cubs sports broadcaster Harry Carey used the term to prevent himself from using foul words on the air. So instead of cursing, he would just, holy cow. Popular New York Yankees shortstop and later announcer Phil Rizzuto was also famous for using the term. So I think that's where I was getting confused. I was getting Ernie Harwell and Phil Rizzuto mixed up as to who used holy cow. I don't think Ernie used holy cow, right?
I don't remember him doing that.
Yeah, but Phil Rizzuto did with the Yankees. Harry Carey did with the Cubs. One man's trash that late Sunday afternoon was another's treasure. In the home booth, the flamboyant Harry Carey stamped Allen's dramatic homer with the raucous holy cow that pumped into growing Sox Nation. I know I was the first to say holy cow, said Harry Carey, because I used it when Rizzuto played. So Harry Carey says he's the first one to use it. But Phil Rizzuto used it a lot. Is the term trademarked?
I don't know.
Grant DePorter, president of Harry Carey's restaurant group, points out that Carey's holy cow phrase was patented by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in January 1999. So every time you say, holy cow, Harry Carey's estate gets a nickel. So anyway, that's where I was getting that's where I was getting confused. You mentioned Ernie Harwell, and I was thinking old-time broadcasters. Mel Allen was in New York. Ernie Harwell was in Detroit. Of course, Joe Buck was down in St. Louis. Harry Carey was first with the White Sox. Then he went over to the Cubbies. And and then a lot of people remember Vin Scully.
Yes.
With the Dodgers for forever and ever and ever. As some of the all-time great broadcasters. And growing up, these are the people that we listened to on the radio because they had a way of painting the picture. You know, we didn't have the pictures. We had a radio. I don't know about you. I had Transistor 6, a little Transistor 6 radio that I would listen to St. Louis and Chicago baseball games on. And, we didn't have the video. We had, we relied on these wonderful announcers who had this great way of telling stories and describing what was going on, that we could just kind of envision this in our mind. And they were awesome at doing it. And
yes, they were.
We've kind of lost that in this visual society that we're in now. I mean, we watched the Super Bowl, so you saw what was going on the field, and the announcers kind of fill in and, you know, add to, but you're seeing it. But not back in the day, right, Barking Guy?
Well, we had television.
Oh, I know television was there, but you had like the Major League Baseball game of the week. You know, you didn't have the MLB package on a satellite channel. You didn't have 57 games you could watch on the cable. Most of your baseball games that you enjoyed, you either went to in person or you listened to the guy on the radio.
But one of the stations did have the games on television.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I would watch it on television.
Yeah.
But most of the time it was on the radio.
Yep. We listened to the radio. And you still can, folks. I mean, we still put a lot of ball games on the radio, a lot of Bulldog games on the radio.
Yes,
so.
we do. Joby
and Robbie, and they do a wonderful job. So
yes, they do.
We enjoy doing that. All right, where did we leave off when we took a break for the news?
This week in old time radio history.
All right.
Today, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Jack Benny was born in 1894.
Wow.
Nigel Bruce in 1895. February 15th, John Barrymore was born in 1882.
Now, that's Drew's grandfather or great-grandfather?
I'm not sure.
Now, he was.
I do know he's related to Lionel.
Yes. Okay.
And
so
Lionel was the one who played Scrooge
That's right.
in the 1938-1939 Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was more. I think they started like in 35.
Yep.
But that was John. But John was born in 1882 on February 15th. February 16th, Edgar Bergen was born in 1903.
One of the first famous ventriloquists.
Yep.
What was his dummy's name?
Charlie McCarthy.
Charlie McCarthy. That's right.
February 17th, Hal Holbrook was born in 1925.
A lot of great movies.
Yep. February 19th, Ed Wynn became the first vaudeville star to sign a radio contract in 1922.
There you go. Ed Wynn.
Yep. February 20th, Gail Gordon was born in 1906. WOR in New York goes on the air in 1922.
They're still on the air today.
Still on the air today. Radio quotes of the week. Question, why was the pancake arrested?
I forget. What?
Answer, unlawful activities.
That was Aaron.
That was Aaron. And sounds like a lot of calories. Valerie from the library about the land, air, and sea from McDonald's.
I bet it is a few calories. That's right.
Yes, it is. And today, February 14th, we
Okay.
have Board of Education meeting, 6 p.m. Tuesday the 15th, basketball versus Portales, boys and girls. JV start at 4 o'clock, the girls varsity at 5:30, the boys varsity around 7. That Pack the Pit night, hamburger fry. And the Zia 7th grade boys basketball game, that's at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And AM assembly schedule, there's a pep assembly in the Red Brick Gym, 8 to 9 o'clock
Okay.
in the morning. Wednesday the 16th, Lake Arthur Basketball Middle School versus the Light at 3 p.m. That was moved from Monday.
Okay.
And the 17th, Lake Arthur Middle School basketball versus Gateway, 4 p.m. BPA State Conference at Albuquerque through Saturday. State Swim Meet at Albuquerque Academy through Saturday. Send off. I don't know when. I like to send them off.
I know.
Didn't get to do that with the bowling team. I usually, do, but
Yeah.
I never got word. I'd like to send them off. Zia 7th grade boys basketball game, 3 o'clock on the 17th. Friday the 18th, JV and varsity girls and boys basketball. They're at Goddard. 4 o'clock, the JVs. About 5:30, girls varsity. 7 o'clock, boys varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And tennis starts.
Tennis?
Tennis.
Wow.
They're at Carlsbad through Saturday. And Saturday the 19th, Artesia City of Champions Classic Cheer Competition.
Oh, really? When's this?
Saturday the 19th.
Saturday the 19th. Okay.
Don't know when it starts. Just says cheer competition.
Okay. So sometime on Saturday, there's some cheering going on.
That's right.
Okay.
And that brings us to Monday. There's President's Day, no school, both Artesia and Lake Arthur. And the basketball district tournaments start.
That's right. The 4 seed goes to the 3 seed, the winner goes to the 2 seed, and then the winner goes to the 1 seed.
Yep. And as far as the girls are concerned, them being Lovington twice,
Mm-hmm.
any Lovington loss or Artesia wins, we are guaranteed a home game in that.
That's right. That's right. So now, can we climb higher and be ahead of Goddard? It's possible.
Possibly.
Because right now we're 2-2, our girls.
Yep.
And Goddard girls are 2-2.
Yep.
So that means these.
We have to win, and more than 3 points.
That's right. That's right. So we've got a chance to make that happen. So if they knock off Portales, which would be a tall task, Portales
Yes.
is pretty good.
Dallas is pretty good.
But and then they beat Goddard on that. You know, that could be the difference between finishing second and finishing third in district.
That's right.
You know.
But it looks to me that we have third clinched, but we need a Lovington loss or an Artesia win.
And then
to
that's,
make it happen.
that's locked in. Yeah.
Then it's locked in.
Yep.
But even if we don't,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the head-to-head, we beat Lovington twice.
So that would be the tiebreaker, and that would mean the game would be here.
That's right.
Yep. You know, and it's kind of a similar stack in the boys.
Yep.
Just flip Goddard and Portales,
Yep.
because Goddard's 4-0 in the boys,
Yep.
and then Artesia's 2-2, and Lovington's 2-2,
Yep.
and then and we split with Lovington this year. So we've got Portales tomorrow night, and then the big showdown with Goddard on Friday.
If we win tomorrow night with the boys,
Mm-hmm.
third will be locked.
That's right.
At least, we will have a home game.
I tell you, the game that's going to be interesting to watch, and if you've got KSVPTV.com, you can watch it. And that's the Goddard-Lovington boys game tomorrow night at Goddard.
Yep. But I can watch it after the fact
Oh, yeah.
because I'll be in the stands
That's
in
right.
Artesia
Of course.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. And I have my ticket
Yep.
for the hamburger fry.
Okay. So you're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Dr. Caton sold me my ticket.
Well, that was nice of him to do that.
Yeah, it was right before the boys' game. He was going through the stands, and he saw me and said, "Do you have a ticket for the hamburger fry?" I said, "No, I need one." And he said, "Well, I could sell you one," and he did.
So it worked out really well. So, yeah, that's how big game is tomorrow night, because for the girls, that'd be a huge upset if they could knock off Portales. The boys just need to make sure they take care of business and win, because Portales boys are down a little bit this year.
Yep.
But that Lovington-Goddard game is going to be interesting, because even in the Max Preps rankings, Lovington is ranked ahead of Goddard and Artesia.
Yeah.
And even though Lovington has lost to Goddard once and to Artesia once, and Goddard is in first place in district, Lovington still, according to the Max Preps, the computer rankings, is still the higher ranked team. So it's kind of, folks, they've kind of gone back to the regular way of doing things. So next week will be the district tournament.
Yep.
Boys and girls. 4 goes to 3, winner goes to 2, winner goes to 1. Then next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday
Is Selection Sunday.
is Selection Sunday, and that's when the NMAA will look at all their criteria, and then they will invite 16 teams to be in the basketball tournament. And the first round and the quarterfinals will be at the higher seeded team. And then the semifinals and the championship will be at the pit in Albuquerque. So that's how that's going to work out this year. So I don't know if we're going to get a top 8 seed or not. I would think if we were a district champ, we'd have to be a top 8 seed, wouldn't you?
Not necessarily.
Well, I know not necessarily, but there's, 6 classes in basketball?
No, there's 5.
Oh, there's just no. I meant like
Districts?
districts in each class.
It depends on the class.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
I think there's 5 or 6 in 4A.
Okay. So if you have 8 teams that host, and a district champ is one of the top 8 seeds. In other words, if you're a district champ, you ought to get a home game for your first round.
Not necessarily.
Well, I know, but I think they try to do that.
Well, with the Max Preps, with our district.
Oh, I understand that on the Max Preps. The Max Preps doesn't take anything like that into consideration, whereas the NMAA is going to say that we're going to make sure our district champs get a home game in the first round.
That I'm not sure about that, but I do know that there's other criteria that they use.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that criteria might bump up our district champ
right
to 8 or better.
Right. I think that's most likely the scenario. We'll ask Coach tomorrow.
Yeah,
Coach, I know he's not worried about it right now. He's worried about being Portales right now.
Yes, he is, and that's where I am too.
Yeah,
I want to beat Portales. I want us to get a home game in the district tournament.
Right,
and that's important because that might be the last time I see them.
That's right, unless you want to go to Albuquerque.
Yeah, and with logistics and everything else and the crime.
I tell you, it is really a shame, and it's not just in New Mexico. I mean, it's happening everywhere. Lana was reading an article, even downtown Denver is getting to be a crime-ridden hellhole.
Yes, I've heard of what they had to do at the Union Station bus terminal.
Oh, what'd they have to do?
They had to limit the number of people that can be in the restrooms, and you couldn't. And there's limited seating, and you couldn't sit on the floor.
Yeah.
Or sit on your bags.
Yeah. See, it's crime is getting out of control everywhere, especially in these major cities where it's a combination of things. It's a combination of the economic impacts of the COVID shutdowns. It's the turning away from the America First platform. The America First platform that Trump was touting was, let's bring the jobs, let's bring the manufacturing, let's bring everything home and revitalize our cities and our metropolitan areas with jobs and opportunities for folks. That's horrible for some reason, or bad for some reason.
And then there's the drugs.
And the drugs, we have lenient DAs that don't prosecute. We've decided there's so much crime that we're going to focus on the major crime, and we're just going to ignore for the most part, the minor crime, well, the level of crime always rises up to what you're willing to tolerate. If you're not going to prosecute car thefts, if you're not going to prosecute shoplifting, if you're not going to prosecute crimes below a certain dollar mark, I guarantee the level of crime is going to rise up to that level. And then if we decide as a society that it's bad to have people locked away in jail, and we just turn them right back out again, well, they're going to go out and commit more crime because that's what they know. And you mentioned the drugs, Barking Guy. I mean, that's a terrible scourge and it's always been. And so some people say, see, we've lost the war on drugs. We need to just give up and decriminalize it. Well, how's that working out?
It isn't.
You know, that's what we're seeing it. We're seeing the results of all of this combination of things that are all kind of pooling together to result in there's no incentive to work. It's borderline racist if you suggest people work and show up on time and be presentable and do a good job. Some people are calling that racist if you hold people to a standard, you know, work ethic standard. I don't know. I'm a little worried about our where we're headed as a country. We've always had crime. We've always had people that have been on drugs. We've always had things like that. But as a society, as a country, we say, well, this is right, this is wrong, and we're going to punish people, and we're going to incarcerate people, and we're going to remove these people from the general population. And, you know,
Yep.
and you can debate whether it was excessive or targeted one specific group of people over another, or whether there was enough counseling or drug rehab or other resources like that. I mean, you can always have those discussions as to whether we have enough of that or not enough of that, or whether we need to have more of that. But there was always this understanding that committing crime is bad, and we need to get you off the streets and out of general population if you commit crime. We don't have that level anymore. Well, you can't help committing crime. What do you mean you can't help committing crime? Well, because of institutional racism and blah, 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 and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, no. Good people don't commit crimes. People should aspire to be good people.
Yeah,
And,
remember Dragnet?
Yeah. You know, you can't do that anymore, you know.
Sergeant Friday, we need people like that.
Yeah. So so we're seeing that infiltrate all these once, you know, there's always been bad parts of town, you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's always been that element, but it was never looked at as like, well, that should be everywhere.
No.
You know?
Remember Jim Croce? Remember Bad Leroy Brown, the south side of Chicago?
Yeah. Well, you know, I grew up in Iowa. I mean, we always heard about the south side of Chicago, and this was back in the, you know, in the 70s when my dad would take us into Chicago to see a ball game at the White Sox. We only went to day games. We never went to games at night on the south side of Chicago. But now I don't know if anybody would feel comfortable going to a day game on the south side of Chicago. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always been that. That's part of the struggle of good versus evil and achieving to be successful and trying not to fall into a vicious cycle and trap, which is led by drugs and other things like that. It's our standards are changing, and what we're tolerating is changing. What we're allowing is changing, and I don't know if it's all for the good.
Fortunately, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're seeing that in some of the bigger cities. I mean, Albuquerque, I just don't know if I want to. I mean, carjackings, theft in the broad daylight, and people will tell you, well, it's just, you know, statistically, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I don't even want to be a part of the statistics. I don't even want to take that chance, you know?
That's right.
And,
I used to go to Albuquerque a lot. Not anymore.
But, you know, we have crime here. We have crime here. I know people that have had cars stolen. I know people that have had trailers broken into. I mean, it's just, it's happening here, too. And it's It's everywhere, Barking Guy. How depressing. Well, how did we get on this depressing angle? We need to stop. We need to be
Yes, we do.
We need to be positive. We need to be uplifting. We need to be. Do you have anything else that would be of happiness and joy?
Well, what would be happy and enjoy would be us having a home game in the district tournament.
I think that's where we started, wasn't it?
Yep.
And you said that the district games might be the last time you get to see them. And I said, unless you want to go to Albuquerque.
Yep.
And then we went downhill from there. So
That's right. Well, I'll send them off.
I know
know
you
that.
will. Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'll send them off, but going to Albuquerque is just not in the cards for me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like you. I mean, if we go to Albuquerque, we have a mission. We have a specific place we're going. We go, we get done what we need to get done, and we get the hell out of there.
That's right.
I mean, even the last few years, there was a place we would stop, go into the coffee shop, go in the bagel shop. We'd let the dogs run around for a little bit. I don't even want to do that in that area anymore, because the last couple times we did that, it was pretty, vagrants walking around and people begging for money and stuff like that. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it anymore. Don't want to do it. Barking Guy, I'll see you tomorrow night.
That's right. And go dogs. Arf.
All right. Thanks, Barking Guy. Let's see what kind of weather